This video is episode 9, My Spiritual Journey. Let's get right into it. Earlier this week, I was shocked. I was once again resurfacing past trauma. I was like, but the two don't go together. I'm on a spiritual journey. How could I have trauma which I was so sure I already nipped in the bud? Back? It's resurfacing again? How could that be? I was really shocked in the full sense of the word, so to speak. But at the same time, I was aware that this is something which does happen. There's some YouTubers who call it the dark night of the soul. That's another way to call it. And there's some YouTubers who just tell you that when you're on a spiritual ascension journey, past traumas come up, and they come up because you're on a spiritual journey and you're expected to deal with them differently. You're expected to focus on them from a different perspective. You're expected to focus on them from a different angle. Now, let me tell you how I dealt with the past trauma, which resurfaced. But before I do that, I want to just thank the amazing viewers and subscribers here who liked the videos which they liked, told me the videos which they like, and they left their amazing comments in the comment section. I want to tell you, every one of you, your comments are very important to me, and I'm really grateful for it. Now, let me get into it. The unbelievable experience I had this week, which seemed to clash with a lot of what I've been telling you about, and it seemed to clash with my spirituality. And why would it be in episode 9? Allow me to explain. Spirituality is all about seeing the world from a holistic perspective, all about seeing the world from a place of faith, from a place of not having to have all the answers, and from a place of agreeing to admit past mistakes, agreeing that past mistakes happen, and agreeing to forgive oneself for mistakes one did in the past, for understanding that past mistakes are there for us to learn from. They're not there for us to fall. They feel like, oh shucks, again we made a mistake. On the contrary, past mistakes are all about lessons, like rungs on a ladder. And so, when I had these resurfacing memories earlier this week, these resurfacing traumatic memories earlier this week, how did I deal with it? Well, firstly, I spoke to a relative of mine who happens to be a subscriber here. A shout out to her, and an amazing viewer here and subscriber. I spoke to all of you, and I'm really grateful to you for saying the right things and not saying the wrong things, because that's also very important. When you're supporting somebody dealing with a trauma, you say the right things and not say what shouldn't be said. Getting back to the incident, or rather the full day of trauma I was grappling with, I focused on the trauma from a place of an observer, from a neutral perspective. What does that mean? I didn't allow the trauma to be part of my hardcore identity. In other words, I saw the past trauma as something which I was dealing with. Yeah, I was dealing with it, but it wasn't part of my hardcore identity. And because I didn't see it as part of my hardcore identity, it did go through the regular things that happen when you have trauma. The regular, how do you say the word? The regular concurrences, maybe? It went through the regular things that happen when you have trauma. I cried. I remunerated over it whilst thinking about it. And then it was like a cloud. It came in and eventually it went out. And it only lasted for a day because of that. That's how I dealt with the trauma. And that's how you deal with trauma from your past. It's not just a spiritual thing, but it very much helps. It really helps when you're on a spiritual path to deal with that kind of thing effectively and with determination and with the ability to see a better result. Or rather, a good result. I want to follow on and talk about the amazing spiritual ascension I had besides the trauma this week. In other words, what were the exciting things that happened this week? Well, I was able to meditate for well over an hour. That means that for well over an hour, I sat in a state, or rather, I was lying in a state of I accept myself, I love myself, and I'm hence pushing out all negative energy. I sat in that state in both, I sat in both states, in the state of I love myself, which is breathing in amazing energy, breathing in heavily. Feel Kundalini as well, if you have your Kundalini activated. And then allowing that to sit, and then breathe out. It felt amazing, and it felt quite awesome. And I did some unbelievable things whilst that was happening. What else have I been doing on this amazing spiritual ascension, better known as spiritual journey? I got better at intermittent fasting, which means that I don't eat or drink between the hours of 8 p.m., allow this to sink in, 8 p.m. and 2 p.m., which is basically an 18-hour fast every single day. What does it feel like? It feels pretty cool. It feels pretty cool. It helps you feel more principled. You're more in control of your life. Because what happens with food doesn't, how do I put this? Food doesn't just control you. It also controls your mood, and it also controls how you see the world around you. In other words, how you view, this is just an example, how you view criticism from others, how you view disappointment. That's what food does. It puts you into a certain perspective, it puts you into a certain reactionary mode because of its fields within. So I was able to really, really focus and really, really feel more principled and really, really feel a lot more tuned in and in line with who I am. Valid from a deep place from within, and therefore I didn't need validation from anybody else. And I felt it on a very deep level. Now, some people might think, my God, Jessica's just not relatable. Not relatable. I had somebody say to me this week, Jessica, you're just not relatable anymore. I want to just tell you, on the contrary. On the contrary, I'm more relatable now than ever. If I do something wrong, I admit a mistake. Because life happens for me. Life is here to teach me lessons. And I'm happy to learn those lessons and to improve. So don't ever get the impression that, oh my gosh, Jessica, you're just not relatable. Can't connect. On the contrary, I'm very much still the same person, just taking myself to a higher ascension. My video on Sunday indicated that. I'm imperfect. I'm still imperfect. And I'll probably be imperfect till my last day. It's okay. Nothing wrong with being imperfect. I am relatable. I just live a very principled life that works for me. I don't tell anybody else how to live their life. I'm very much like that. I tell people, you want tips? I'm here to give tips with pleasure. I give people tips. You don't want to use those tips? That's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own methods. I'm a lot more humble, actually. I'm a lot more grounded and in a much better place because of the spiritual ascension. What did you think about this video today? If you enjoyed this video, why not press the like button? Feel free to share this video with your friends and your family and your neighbors and even your grandmother. Why not? Feel free. I mean, I don't think my grandmother would have been able to know how to press the buttons on these touchscreen phones. So that might be a bit of a difficulty. But maybe your grandmother's much younger and that's not a big deal. Fine, that's cool. I am wishing you a great weekend and I'm wishing you a great day ahead tomorrow. The weekend's coming. It's time to relax and enjoy yourself. I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Oh, remember, if you have any comments, please leave any comments in the comment section down below. Feedback is very, very important to me. I love you.